Hey, Shalom. Okay, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai. So I got a quick video I wanted to do here, and pretty much this is gonna be more or less a rant, okay, with the basis of this video being in the book of Job, the 9th chapter on the 24th verse, and complementary wise, a good scripture that will go hand in hand with this will probably be the book of First Maccabees, the 3rd chapter on the 48th verse. Okay, so pretty much what you see within the realms of history, within the realms of studying the ancient arts, okay, medieval arts, okay, or whatever it may be, okay, that you study, but happened within the prehistoric times. You have a thing called a whitewashing of images, okay, and that's prominent within the rulership of Esau. Like I said, this is more or less a rant than anything else, okay. So what you have is within the history, recorded history, you have key figures, okay, and I've got two examples here, but key figures that were pretty much known to be of Hamitic descent, okay. If we assume, we know that the word Ham means burnt one, okay, that is to say dark skinned, all right. So we know that the descendants of Ham was going to be dark skinned people, okay. Now what you find out is pretty much when you're going into studying, okay, you find out that everybody within history looked like so-called Edomites, okay, so-called white people, so you can understand. But the reality of the situation is, okay, if you got dark-skinned people today, and you've got largely more people of color today than you have Edomites, okay, people of no color, okay, you know, there or thereabouts, because we know people intermingle, people integrate into other cultures, and subsequently their seed is passed through other cultures, and as a result, your seed may look like the other nations. But we know that through if you got people of color and more so people of color than people of no color, then it stands to reason that the vast majority of history should contain people of color more so than people of no color, or what you might consider a so-called white person today. And this is by design, okay? This is a thing that's been pushed and has been studied and has been put forth into your mainstream media, okay, into your history books, into your subconscious, okay, into every facet of your thinking. This thing of whitewashing historical images, okay, has been put there, okay, and has been has been made to where videos like this is seen as rebellious videos, but it's just the truth that was going to be brought out here. So the first instance we've got here is the woman Jezebel, okay. Now when you go into the history, this woman was of Hamitic descent, okay. Let's go backwards up. I'm on flight mode at the minute. This woman was of Hamitic descent. Hopefully nobody's gonna bother me. I usually turn the flight mode off. I usually turn the flight mode on when I'm doing the videos, okay. But pretty much what you find out within the history is this was a door, okay, of one of the Hamitic kings that you had out there, okay. So Jezebel is described in the Book of Kings, etc., etc. Okay, a daughter of Ethel-Baal, okay. And if we go into this geezer here, okay, Ethel-Baal, Phoenician, okay, was a king of Tyre who founded the dynasty, right? During his reign, Tyre expanded his mainland, okay, making all of Phoenicia his territory, Beirut, Sidon, etc., etc. So what we know from the history is that pretty much places like Tyre, okay, Sidon, were inhabited by Hamitic nations that were pushed up into those areas when we gone into the land of Israel and other various historical events that led them to being in within that area. That is to say, okay, that this image that you have of these Edomite women over here, well, those people didn't even exist within that area. Well, they did exist. They existed in the land of Edom. But these, when you see these images, okay, that's what you know as a white. Now they got that. Now they got a more accurate image here. This will be a more accurate image, okay, because we know that this woman was of the line of them Canaanites, them Hamites. Okay, if my history serves me correct, I will be in trouble for this one if I don't get this correct. But hopefully, I think my history, if I did my history properly, this woman here would have been of Hamitic descent, and certainly wouldn't have looked anything like what you've got out here within these images. Okay. Now, even if this is incorrect and I had, you know, missed a step here or thereabouts or whatever, okay, the fact of the matter is this, that within all realms of studies, you've got the same thing being played out. Okay, the same thing, the same example being played, where you've got a mass whitewashing of images. Now, I chose this one because, you know, it's not too difficult to trace up the history. The same thing with Hannibal Barca. Okay, it's not difficult to trace up the history, because if you've got a general of Carthage, okay, which Carthage was set up by the same Tyree who was reading a second ago, okay, and the Tyrians were what? If we check out, was set up by Hamites. Okay, these was gonna be people of color, man. Okay, they was gonna have color about them. Okay, they was gonna look like black people. But we know through the scriptures, and through the understanding of the scriptures, and we know through the study of of people today, okay, we know that that not just because a person is called black by way of color, okay, or is that one nation, rather that you've got different nations, okay, that may look you got different nations, okay, that look black, okay. So you got Hamites that look dark skinned, okay, and most importantly, you got it to where Judah, Benjamin, and Levi for the most part was going to be dark skinned, but if you put them side to side next to each other, they was going to look the same, like they was of the same nation. But we know through the scriptures that the Most High has put a difference, okay, between those people. Now we know actually that this individual, through the studying of the history, that this guy came from of line of the Israelites, okay. But we know he was amidst those Carthaginians, of which those Carthaginians were dark-skinned people, and during the Punic Wars, they was going back and forth for control of the Mediterranean Sea between them and the Romans, of which Carthage today, right now, is what you know as Tunisia. Okay, so you had dark-skinned people within Tunisia, okay, led by the army of Hannibal Barca, his brother and his father, okay, which they were Israelites, okay, and those were dark-skinned people, okay, and I just chose those examples there. I could have chosen any examples just to illustrate a point. Now, of course, you know, you could go into the history and find out this, that, and the third that's different, and I've done this video completely wrong, which would be hella embarrassing. But it's the point still stands. Okay, the point still stands that you have a mass whitewashing of images, even of those ones that are admittedly of people of Hamitic descent. For instance, like the example of Jezebel, we know her line goes back onto the Tyrians and so on and so forth. These guys were people of color. Okay, these were not Edomites. Okay, these were dark-skinned Hamitic people. And when you look at these images, Esau will have you believe that within history, okay, everybody just looked like they was the same color. Okay, everybody was just white within the history, which is just not true. Okay, you look at them, when you look at, you know, different pharaohs within Esau's artwork, all of these people will just look like Greeks, man. And the fact of the matter is this: when you really understand why everybody looks the same, is how the records all came to being collected. So when you read about Alexandria, and we read about how the Ptolemies had commissioned all the books, okay, of the world to be compiled there at Alexandria, then you find out that these people that were writing the books, the Edomites, okay, was compiling books from Asia, from the Middle East, the Far East, etc., etc., etc. But they was making these different books, so they would have painted a likeness of their own images as is illustrated within the book of Maccabees, the 3rd chapter, and the 48th verse, of their own image on the books of the different judges that you had out there within the world. Okay, to the end that what? That the earth, when it was given into the hand of the wicked, he was going to cover the faces of the judges thereof. Now, we're not really interested in Jezebel and the Back to Africa movement with Egypt as the centerpiece. We're interested in the book of the Judges, which is the scriptures, which is the Bible, of which when you watch a movie about Samson, they ain't gonna have it to where you're gonna see a Jake out there, okay, doing what Jakes do, and then really that whole story comes to life, because those are situations that happen with a Jake, man. Okay, like, you know, power, learning how to use that power, and ultimately overthrowing your enemies. These are situations that really affect the Israelites, okay, which are the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and that can be clearly seen throughout history and up until this point that we're living in right now, okay. And you look at, you know, stories about King David within Esau's history books. You look at these weak punk Edomites, okay, right, Edomites, right, and they're trying to make it to where you think that that's how these people looked, and that's just not the case, okay. So with that, you know, let's go into this quick scripture here, and then we can call it quits on that. So this is the book of Job, all right, the book of Job, the 9th chapter and the 24th verse. Okay, Job 9 and 24. All right, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, wherein, who is he? And this is this individual here that you know as Esau, okay, the elite banking families, whatever you want to call them, the Illuminati, whatever. These are the guys that go out there, right? They pursue certain information. Okay, the scripture says that they have accomplished a diligent search, and those images are heavily whitewashed. Okay, even when you check out, they'll tell you that Ham. They'll tell you all of you black people came from Ham, but when you look at some easily identifiable Hamite within the history, you ain't gonna find those people looking like Hamites anymore. All of a sudden, these guys are gonna look like Greeks. So there's no consistency within that, and we know that the Mosai is not the author of confusion. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna say, all praise unto Yahweh Shem Yahshai, double honor to the Apostle GreatMillStone, one of the brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom.